Hey there, how's it going everybody? So in this video, we're gonna be learning how to play around with our attribute data. So remember in our last video, we created a spatial join where we had to join our coronavirus data to our Zimbabwe boundaries data. So today we're gonna be playing around with our attribute table, and that means that we're gonna be calculating new fields and we're gonna be editing the existing data. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna right click on my layer, and then I'm just gonna click attribute table in order to open the attribute table. Okay, so now this is our attribute table. As you can see, the data that we added in our previous video is still here. But now let's say what we need to do now is we need to add an active cases field to our data. As you can already see, we don't have a column which represents any active cases within our attribute table. Okay, so let me just do one thing. I just want to pin this table to the top in order for us to have a clear view of this data. So yeah, so just pin my data to the. Okay, so now what we need to do, since we do not have a column for active cases, what we need to do now is we need to add a column for active cases. So now in order to add a column like to our already existing data, what we need to do is just go over here and click add. Okay, one thing I have to mention this, that one thing I like about using ArcGIS Pro is that whenever you're dealing with data, the data is already set to edit mode by default. So there's no need to go right clicking and then activate editing mode like we used to do in ArcMap. Okay, so as you can see already, as soon as we clicked add, our attribute data configuration already added a default field right below the existing data. Okay, so now the default name was named the field. So what we need to do is we just need to rename this by double clicking. And then, since I said we're gonna call this active cases, I'm just gonna call this active cases. I'm just gonna type active cases, and then our alias. This is the name which is displayed on our data. So I'm just gonna call this active cases again, and I will need to select a data type. So among data types, we have a lot of data types. We have short, long, float, double, date, text, blob, guild, and raster. So now, and this one is gonna be an integer. So what's close to that is you're gonna either select long or short. So I'm just gonna select long. And then, do we need to highlight? No, we're just gonna leave that at default. And then number format is going to be numeric. Yeah, it's going to be numerics. Okay, just gonna leave everything as default. And then, do we need a default value? No, don't need anything else. Okay, so that being said, we just added a field. So now, before we go back to our attribute table, we need to save this field first in order for it to appear within our attribute table. So automatically with ArcGIS Pro, it already opened a fields tab on top here. So what we need to do is just we need to click save. You can see it's now applying all the changes that we just made. Okay, so that process is done, and so now what we need to do is we just need to close this configurations panel and go back to our attribute table. So what I'm expecting to see is an active case column at the end of my data. As you can see, there is the active case column. As you can see, we didn't add any default data, so the default one is going to there. So there's not going to be any value, so that represents the now there. So now what we need to do is we need to calculate the number of active cases in each and every province in Zimbabwe. Okay, so we do not have to do this manually since it's already a calculated field. What we need to do is we just need to go on the field, and we just need to right click, and then we click on calculate field. So it's going to open this calculate field, which allows us to enter an expression within the column that you just selected. Okay, so as you can see, the field name existing row is active case, and then which expression do I want to use. Okay, so for starters, I would rather recommend to use the arcade expression, since we just want to perform a basic calculation too. Because for us to get the number of active cases, it's gonna be the cumulative minus the number of recoveries minus the number of deaths. So we're just gonna use the arcade calculation. Okay, so as you can see right here, we have this is where we write our formula, and this is a list of fields and helpers which help us to perform certain queries and functions and perform our calculations. So what I'm going to do is I need to subtract the number of cumulative cases which have occurred. So I'm just going to look for cumulative cases, which is right there, number of cases. So I just double click that and it automatically comes here into my calculate tab. So I'm just going to add a subtraction symbol, and then now I need to subtract from the number of people who recovered. Click there again and I add another subtraction symbol, number of people who died. So yeah, so now this is my whole expression. So now what I need to do is I need to validate this expression. As you can see, the expression is valid, and then what I need to do is just click on apply. So now it's calculating the number of active cases per each province. So as you can see to my right there, the fields are already populated with data. So that means our calculation was a success. Okay, so that's how you perform calculations. So there are a lot of functions to do, like when you're performing calculations. Let's take for example, I could actually capitalize all this data within I could actually capitalize the names of all these provinces. So what I need to do is I need to perform the same action that I did. I just need to right click on this field, then I go on calculate field again. Okay, so what I need to do now is this time I'm going to use the Python. I'm not going to use the arcade, because here I'm not dealing with numeric data. So okay, so I'm just going to click the name of the field which I want to use to capitalize this whole column. So I'm just going to click on province, and then I need to find a function which helps me to bring everything into uppercase. So I'm just going to look for an uppercase function. Let me just scroll down. Okay. I'm looking for an uppercase function. Just gonna take a bit while I look for this function. Yeah, there it is. I'm just gonna add the function to the equation, and then now I click on validate. So you can see the expression is valid, and then I click on apply. So that's it. As you can see, my text symbols, my texting was all converted into uppercase. Now each and every province is now represented in uppercase letters. So that's how you run the second expression. Okay, so now we need to edit some data here. So I'm not gonna be editing. Okay, so let me just edit this column that we just changed. Okay, so let's say I wanted to add you know that Harare and Bulawayo, they are metropolitan provinces in Zimbabwe. So I just need to add that to our data so that we know which ones are metropolitan provinces. So I'm just going to click here on Bulawayo, double click, and then I just add metropolitan. Then I click on Harare again. Then I just click. I can just type metropolitan right there. So automatically our data, there's no need for saving this data because it's already in edit mode, because we only save when we perform certain calculations, but otherwise this is our data. And so we have edited and we have learned how to calculate. I hope this video is helpful for everyone who will be using ArcGIS Pro, and please like this video and share the channel with other people who would like to know how to use this software.